A luxury cruise ship carrying over 1,000 passengers is about to become the deadliest trap in the middle of the ocean. What starts as a glamorous New Year's Eve celebration suddenly turns into a fight for survival. In less than a minute, a gigantic rogue wave flips the entire ship upside down. Thousands of people are trapped inside, surrounded by darkness, fire, and rising water. Rescue teams are too far away, and every second brings the ship closer to the bottom of the ocean. To escape, a handful of survivors must travel through the overturned vessel, where one wrong step means instant death. Aboard the luxury cruise ship Poseidon, passengers are celebrating New Year's Eve with music, dancing, and laughter. But inside the control room, the captain spots a massive rogue wave racing directly toward the ship. He immediately sounds the alarm, but there is no time to escape. Moments later, the giant wave crashes into the vessel, flipping the entire ship upside down. People are thrown across rooms, crushed by debris, drowned, or killed in explosions. After the disaster, the surviving passengers gather inside a ballroom. An officer tells them that rescue teams have already been contacted and advises everyone to stay put. But former Navy sailor Dylan doesn't believe they can survive by waiting. After studying a ship map, Dylan realizes the vessel is slowly sinking. He decides to find another way out. A young boy, his mother, a wealthy businessman, and an elderly architect choose to follow him. The architect warns them that the ship was never designed to float upside down and could sink at any moment. With no time to waste, the group begins their dangerous journey toward the ship's propeller section, which may be their only path to freedom. The group convinces a waiter to show them a secret shortcut through the ship. Although he warns them that the route is extremely dangerous, they decide to take the risk. Moving through the overturned vessel, they pass destroyed corridors and dead bodies scattered throughout the wreckage. Every step reminds them how close death really is. Eventually, they reach a blocked elevator shaft. Using a metal bench as a bridge, Dylan crosses first and discovers a way into an upper elevator compartment. One by one, the survivors climb up. But disaster strikes when the elderly architect and the waiter are left hanging above a deadly drop. Dylan cannot pull both of them to safety. Realizing there is no other choice, the architect kicks the waiter away. The man falls to his death, and seconds later the elevator crashes below, causing a massive explosion. The survivors barely escape the flames and continue moving. Soon they arrive at a dance club where they find the businessman's daughter along with a few additional survivors. Their group is now larger, but the ship continues filling with water. Dylan knows they must keep moving before their route disappears forever. The next obstacle is even worse. A flooded section blocks their path, and the only way across is a damaged metal railing hanging above deep water. Several survivors successfully cross, then an alcoholic passenger insists on going next. Halfway across, he loses focus. At that exact moment, a huge engine breaks loose and crashes down on him. He is crushed instantly. The impact destroys the crossing and spills oil into the water below. Sparks ignite the oil, creating a wall of fire. The survivors are trapped once again. Thinking quickly, Dylan dives underwater. Knowing the flames are only burning on the surface, he swims beneath them and reaches the other side. There, he creates a new crossing and helps the others follow safely. Meanwhile, back in the ballroom, the enormous pressure finally shatters the windows. Water rushes inside, drowning everyone who stayed behind. Dylan's group hears the screams and realizes they escaped certain death, but they are still far from safety. After another route becomes blocked by water pressure, they crawl through a narrow ventilation shaft. Suddenly, water begins flooding the tunnel. Dylan is trapped at the back as the shaft rapidly fills. Just seconds before he drowns, the young boy manages to remove a metal grate, allowing everyone to escape through the opening. Now, only a few levels away from the propeller section, the survivors encounter another sealed passage. Dylan realizes they're inside a stabilizer tank. He explains that if the tank fills completely with water, pressure may open a hidden exit. The idea sounds insane. If he's wrong, everyone will drown. But with water already rushing toward them, they have no choice. They flood the tank and wait underwater as the pressure builds. For several terrifying moments, nothing happens. Then the hidden door finally bursts open, sending them into another flooded chamber. While swimming through the water, one young woman becomes trapped in wires. She manages to break free, but suffers a fatal injury in the process. Although the others pull her out, she dies shortly afterward. The remaining survivors are devastated, but they cannot stop. Continuing forward, they hear what sounds like rescuers calling out. Hope quickly turns into disappointment when they discover the sound came from a ringing telephone hidden beneath debris. Dylan studies the ship's structure and realizes they are finally close to the propeller area. Exhausted but determined, the group rushes forward. When the survivors reach the propeller section, they discover it is completely flooded. After everything they endured, their escape route seems impossible. Suddenly, a powerful explosion deep inside the ship changes everything. The vessel shifts, draining the water away and revealing a path to the propeller chamber. But victory comes at a cost. As the elderly architect opens a pressure door, it slams into him with tremendous force, killing him instantly. The remaining survivors soon discover another problem. The giant propellers are still spinning, making escape impossible. A map reveals they can only be controlled from the distant control room, now deep underwater. The businessman decides to go. Before anyone can stop him, he dives into the flooded ship and swims toward the control room. While he is gone, the young boy becomes trapped behind a metal grate. His mother desperately tries to reach him, but Dylan manages to rescue the child just in time. Meanwhile, the businessman reaches the control room and discovers the shutdown switch is broken. Running out of air, he finds a control that reverses the propellers. Using his last strength, he activates it before drowning. His sacrifice gives the others one final chance. Dylan realizes the businessman reversed the airflow so the propellers can be destroyed. The young boy hands Dylan a large gas cylinder. Dylan throws it directly into the spinning blades. A massive explosion erupts. When the flames clear, the propellers have finally stopped. The survivors climb onto the outer hull and jump into the ocean, reaching a small lifeboat. Behind them, the enormous Poseidon finally sinks beneath the sea. Hearing helicopters overhead, Dylan fires a flare into the night sky. The rescue crews spot them immediately and move in. After surviving fire, flooding, explosions, and impossible choices, the remaining survivors are finally rescued. And that's how the nightmare aboard Poseidon comes to an end.